Welcome to Chalk Talk, a weekly preview of West Tennessee football featuring the Jackson Sun sports team here on jacksonsun.com.
Welcome into jacksonsun.com for this week's edition of Chalk Talk, the college version, as we break down the upcoming football games in local West Tennessee college football. I am Sun Sports Editor Brandon Shields. He is our local college sports writer, Craig Thomas. And Craig, football season gets started Thursday, and for you it's no different. You're going to be heading down to Chattanooga on Thursday afternoon watching UTM at UTC.
Yeah, a little bit of a road trip headed to the other side of the state. UT Martin is a team that, unlike the last couple of years, we don't know a whole lot about yet. We don't know if we're going to find out a handful of things, I think, in this Chattanooga game. First things first, Chattanooga is ranked 24th in the country, a pretty solid program. Probably a similar program to Martin as far as, just sort of where they are nationally within FCS. But we're going to learn a lot about the Skyhawks in this game. I think we're going to learn how much their defense has progressed from the end of last year when they struggled. I think we're going to learn who the quarterback is and how well he's playing, and how many quarterbacks they use, because Coach Jason Simpson said he's open to using multiple quarterbacks, and I think we'll probably see that a little bit in this game. So there are lots of storylines to follow. It should be a really interesting game.
You spent some time with Coach Simpson, some of the players at different media days and different events. Has anybody mentioned anything about this being a rivalry game, since it's, they're in-state rivals but not necessarily conference rivals?
They haven't really mentioned it. It's kind of interesting you bring that up. Chattanooga has some Martin ties, and Martin has some Chattanooga ties. Jason Simpson himself was an assistant coach at Chattanooga before taking the head coaching job at Martin in 2006. There's some former Skyhawks coaching with Chattanooga, and I believe there's some assistants on the Skyhawks staff that have been in Chattanooga before, so they've kind of swapped a little bit. But I don't know that they would consider Chattanooga a local rival, just given, one, how far away it is. It's not really in this area, and the fact that it's not a conference game. I think they'd probably, if anything, see an Austin Peay or a Murray State as a little bit more of a local rival.
All right. Well, then after that game on Thursday, and you get through the high school games on Friday, then you'll be heading up to McKenzie as Bethel, who is starting out the season ranked number 9 in the NAIA preseason poll after their run to the second round of the NAIA playoffs last year. They'll be opening their season against William Penn.
Bethel's in an interesting situation. They're breaking in a new quarterback in B.J. Robertson. He's not completely new. He played a couple of games last year when Will Massoud was hurt, but now Will Massoud's gone. They've lost a couple running backs. They've lost a handful of receivers, so their offense looks pretty different. Could still be pretty good, but it just looks different. And then the defense should be pretty solid for the Wildcats. But they're playing a team that's ranked 16th in the country in William Penn, and the NAIA is actually asking fans to vote on an NAIA game of the week, and this one's one of the two choices. So I think that's suggestive of pretty high perception for Bethel, which makes sense given the fact they've won the West Division the last 2 years.
You mentioned so many guys that are not there from last year. While they lose that talent and that ability from the starters, but you said they got a lot of depth coming back, do you think this could be an advantage for them, just because William Penn is not necessarily familiar watching game film with the guys they're going to have out there?
I suppose it could be. I mean, I guess that's always one wild card in the first week, is that the other team doesn't really know a whole lot about what you're doing. There's not a whole lot of film to study on the Bethel offense as we're going to see it.
Right.
And that said, though, I mean, the way the offense was last year, you'd have to feel pretty good about it if it were coming back, because they had so many good players. So I don't know that it's necessarily better than it would have been, but it's just more interesting than anything to see exactly how everything's going to work out.
All right, well, whether players and coaches are ready for it or not, college football kicks off this week. Not only is UTM playing on Thursday night, but Vanderbilt fans and Ole Miss fans get to watch their teams play each other in Nashville Thursday night as well. Saturday, another OVC rival for UTM, Austin Peay. They'll be in Knoxville kicking off at Tennessee Friday, or at 5 o'clock on Saturday. And we'll have updates with game finals and from all over the country throughout the weekend. So if you're following your team, be safe traveling, be safe to you traveling to Chattanooga and McKenzie, and good luck to your team.